All right. I'm live. It says I'm live. Ooh, I am. Do, 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 do. Do, ladies and gentlemen. Scooby-Doo. I'm back-ish. Please excuse my coughs. That's really pretty much what's left of my illness. I was sick as a Doug last week. Actually, for almost 2 weeks. What are you going to do? But I'm back. Back in the saddle again. Phil's here. How am I feeling? Okay, it's still this damn cough. Got like a wheezing cough. But it's getting a little better every day. I sound a little bit more like myself, less like Barry. Who's the guy with the really deep voice? The Soul Orchestra. I was going to say Barry Manilow, but that's wrong. All right, so we're in September. I should have been doing September songs, and I'm not because I had all this shit planned for last week. And so, yeah, I'm a week behind. Day late, dollar short. Yeah. Am I doing meds? Yeah. I'm a med guy. For the first, 40 years of my life, 50 years of my life, I was like, I don't take anything. Nothing. Not even an aspirin. And now, I'm on an antibiotic. I got like one of these little puffer things. Taking a cough pill. What else am I taking? Oh, I just started taking steroids today to try and just calm everything down here. So steroids are good though. Might, build me up a little bit. Maybe not. Can't really build up beef jerky, It's just like this dried remnant of meat. That's me. With a little blubber around certain parts, but mostly beef jerky. But enough about me. Why don't you talk about me? Okay. I'm going to start with a song. Hey, Lisa. Barry White. There you go. Love Unlimited Orchestra. I knew. Thank you. Anyway, so let's get started. This is a song called Festival 48. And while I was waiting to come on tonight, I came up with a funny kind of little intro. So I'm gonna lay it on you. Oh, yeah, I'm gonna lay it on you. I'm gonna lay it on you thick. That was thin. Now I'm gonna lay it on you thick. Just want to make sure I get the time right. Is this how we're gonna start my first day back? Anthony's here. Hey, Anthony. Okay, third time's the charm. No, that's not right. Okay. Oh, my God. So I must have killed a lot of brain cells in the last 2 weeks. So hopefully some of them will grow back as I play tonight. That's what I wanted. right, ladies and gentlemen, there you go. One down, one down. There you go. All right. Yeah, I was looking at all the chats from last week. It was hysterical. You guys are the best. Yeah, Barry White. Anthony's back. Hope you're well enough for this Saturday gig. Yes, I'm getting better. Just coughing. Sharon saying hi. Phil saying hi. Hi, hi, hi. Jeff is here. Yo. All right. Yeah, nice. Atlanta Pinstripes and myself were the only two dummies in the chat bar. Wondering where everyone was. Yeah, sorry. I waited until the last minute. I really thought I could pull it off, pull it together. But no, I was like too fevery. And I would have these coughing fits where it was just bad. It was bad news. But the news is getting better. It's getting better all the time. So anyway, that was Festival 48 with my little tribute to Weather Report in the beginning that I pulled off really shittily. But yeah, kind of screwed up the melody too. But hey, that's what happens. Well, that's what happens to me anyway. Let's see. So the next one is another, these are new ones for me, and I think they're new ones for you too. This was written by Django and Stefan Grappelli. It's called Black and White. It doesn't matter if you're black or white. No, I don't think so. I mean, I agree with Michael Jackson, but it's not that song, is what I'm saying. There's a different Black and White. Before Michael was ever born. And let's see. Oh, there was something I wanted to say about the first song. Interesting rhythm changes song. Where we were in the key of C. And I listened to like a million versions of the song, and that was the best chord changes that I could compile from all the versions that I listened to, which I find interesting because regular rhythm changes would be like, right? But this is just, it sounds like it's ending, but then it's 3, 6, 2, 5. Then it does like it's ending, and it ends. Then it just does the exact same thing twice, and the bridge is the usual dominant 3 chord cycling out, and then back to that crazy A section. And what's interesting, this next song, Black and White, it's not rhythm changes, and it's actually a whole lot weirder, but it's basically a 3-6-2-5 in the key of C. So it starts on the 3 chord, but dominant. Right? And then instead of an A7, like instead of going to the 2 chord, it goes to the 2 chord, but the flat 9's in the bass. Then it goes to the, it goes 3, yeah. Sorry. 6. 2, dominant. And then instead of the 5 chord, it does like an A flat 6. Beautiful. And I'm thinking of it kind of like a minor 4 chord. And then we finally get to the root. Then up to that A flat again. Back to the root. C. And then to A7. And then someday when you feel lonely. That's what that reminds me of. To a dominant whatchamacallit chord, 7 chord, to E minor, to G7, and then back to the 3-6-2-5. Then it goes dominant 2, minor 2, 5, 1. So, yikes. And it's worth the ride, though. It's really worth the ride because it just holds together so nice. And there's really only melody in the first 8 bars, and the next 16, and let me see, first 8 bars, and the next 16 bars are sort of improvised, but the improvisation has sort of become a melody, but I'm not that crazy about it, so I make up my own. And then, when it goes to the, comes back again, I play the original melody again. All right. But enough about me. Actually, enough about Django. And I gotta remember not to play this too fast. Yeah, I think around there I can handle. And then this great melody. Improvised part. Boing. All right, there you go. Another one down the drain. All right, let's see. What's going on here? Where's Steve Vance? Yeah, I don't know. Sharon said, "Is this the latest COVID incarnation?" No, I actually went to the doctor to see what's the matter, and they did the COVID test. No, the flu test. No, the RSV test. No, chest X-ray. No pneumonia. Just a really bad sinus and upper respiratory infection. All right. Hey, Steve is here. You wheeled him onto the chat bar. Steve Vance, ladies and gentlemen. Doug, did you ever teach a classroom class at Purchase? Yeah, one or two. I was at the college for 30 years, and I developed both the undergrad and the master's program in jazz. So I basically taught every course that was offered in both of those undergrad and graduate majors, as well as doing some teaching for the studio comp department. So, yeah, you could say I taught a class or 1,000. A lot of classes. Yes. Yes, I did. Sharon said, Ernie P. also recently had the same upper respiratory thing. Yeah. I'm doing a gig with Ernie this Saturday. We're going to be at the Pleasantville Farmers Market in Pleasantville, New York, by the Pleasantville train station. And if you're in the area and you've never been, believe me, I play a lot of farmers markets, and the Pleasantville one is it's amazing. That's all I got to say. It's amazing. And the guys that run the music program are amazing. It's like a regular gig. There's like a stage and a sound system and backline and blah, blah, blah. It's good. It's great. They're great people. I've got to be doing it for now more than 10 years. Yeah. All right. So now this next song is a Django Reinhardt song, and it's called The Viper's Dream. I'm not really sure what that means, because to me a viper is a snake. So I don't know. But could it be like a vapor, like where they like smoking dope? What did they have those, I don't know, opium dens, right? In some of those countries, right? So I don't know, viper's dream, like you smoke that opium stuff and then you have a dream about a viper. Or it could just be about a snake having a dream. Or it could be about a Dodge Viper, but they weren't invented yet then. 151515151. Yeah. So anyway, this song is almost impossible to pull off as a solo loop pedal thing, but I'm going to do it anyway because you know me. I'm down to try everything once. And so this has to me, I'm sorry, forgive me, Django, but the intro sounds kind of funny to me, and I'm going to play it like just how it's written. But then it goes into this me and my harmony, right? Me and my harmony. It starts in the key of, it's in like the key of C, but when we play this head, it's not really in the key of F either, but I don't know, but it starts on an F chord. And it's very interesting that we're playing the 9th, the 3rd, and the flat 7. That's on that bass note. Very interesting. First time I heard this song, I was like, I have to learn that. And it took me a second, but I got it. I've got it. And so anyway, I got to do this intro. Then I got to play this crazy triple stop part. Then it goes into like a C blues. It just goes into a C blues for a long time. And then at the end, we play that crazy F thing again. And then we end on like some A minor chords like A minor, F, E, A minor. And then it keeps going down. And then some kind of like, and that's it. So I don't know. So, put on your seatbelts. We'll see how this thing goes. Right down the scale. Oh, not quite down the scale. And then it does these chords. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. So, what can I say but pretty crazy, huh? So I don't know if I pulled it off, but at least it's something different than I do every week, right? All right, let's see. Everybody's razzing Steve for not being here. All right. Okay. Oh, yeah, summer vacay, huh? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. So far, so interesting. So now here's a song that's a lot less interesting. I mean, it's interesting, but I've played this before, but I just haven't played it in a long time. And I went back and I revisited it. And I noticed that I was playing the wrong chords. I was close, but no cigar. All the way to the store and no bananas. The lights are on, but nobody's home. So I had to remedy that. It's a Glenn Miller song called Moonglow. So I had everything right except the rhythm part. So this song has a little tricky thing. So these three chords, to me, the first chord is easy. It's a C6-9, then a C diminished. But the next chord is a B minor 7 flat 5. It's like a B half diminished chord, but it's got the flat 9 on top. to the diminished. So I always played that correctly. But when I would comp, I would go C, C diminished, then just B diminished, C diminished, C major 7. So that's wrong. So I had to practice C major 7, C diminished, B 7 flat 5, C diminished. So that'll match this. C, C diminished, B half diminished, C diminished. So there you go. Story of my life. So let's get into this thing. Moonglow. Yeah. Here it comes. Dominant 2 chord coming up. Minor 2. 5. Moving down a half step to the 4. All right. Moonglow. So that was pretty nice, huh? All right. Moonglow. Let's see what's going on out here in the upper atmosphere. Let's see. How's everybody doing? Sally Field. Do you miss me? Steve, miss you, buddy. Read above. Mom's house flooding in early August. Gross. Oh, Steve and the daughter might get a serious guitar for her birthday. You should check out a PRS SE. Yeah. I agree. Yep. I have to say that I agree. Paul Reed Smith is a good dude. He makes good guitars. And, you know, there's been that whole sort of like backlash against Fender, you know, because suddenly Fender was like, anybody that has a Fender-shaped guitar or anything that, you know, you can't say Telly or Strat or anything, you got to, like, get rid of them. You got to burn them or send them back or do something, you know. And, you know, I didn't participate in the discussions, but I read a lot. And what I found fascinating was, and this is why the PRS, the Paul Reed Smith thing, comes to light, is that a lot of people were saying that the reason why people were not buying the the Tellys and the Strats from Fenders, because they weren't making them well anymore, and companies like PRS were just kicking their ass in every aspect of like quality, playability, tone woods. I mean, you name it, craftsmanship, right down the line. And I don't know if that's true or not, but I can tell you that having been around, I would say that I've been on the music scene definitely since 67, 68. I don't know. How old are you in 8th grade? 14. I was born in 53. That'd be 67. Yeah. So I started playing gigs the summer of the 8th grade. So I knew, all about equipment and everything. And even though I was a drummer, I knew everything about what the guitar players and the keyboard players and what everybody else was doing. And I can tell you that when we got into the 70s, all of a sudden Fender started making these guitars that instead of having the 4-bolt neck, it had a 3-bolt neck, and everybody hated them. They just hated them. And I don't exactly remember why, because I wasn't really a guitar player yet. But I remember that was the first time I ever heard of any like quality issue with Fender instruments, So, I think that some of what they've done over the years has come back to haunt them. And, and it's happened to other companies too. Supposedly Martin Guitars went through a period where, for any number of reasons, the quality thing fell off, and a lot of times that can happen because, a new owner comes in or, some kind of trade thing, like the trade wars now where like you can't get certain tone woods. And then as African nations liberated themselves, they were all like colonized by Europe. And as they liberated themselves, they stopped exporting woods because the European countries were just deforesting entire nations. Like they didn't give a shit what happened after they did it, And so there are like changes, political changes in leadership in companies that can lead to issues in quality, really. And, it's hard to keep your eye on the prize all the time, as they say. And, yeah. So anyway, so so this is a long story, that the Paul Reed Smith guitars are great, and apparently the heritage guitars are built in the original Gibson factory. So, the Paul Reed Smith I just had a Telly style guitar made for me by Chris Tatalia of Tatalia's Guitars. And the body is in the shape of a Telecaster, but it's a chambered solid body. So it's not solid, and it's made out of swamp ash, and it's got a cap, and it's all swamp ash, like when you see it, but it's not exactly like a Telecaster body, and it doesn't weigh 1 billion pounds. It weighs 3 pounds. So I don't know if you've ever picked up some of those old Telecasters. It's like, they're like, it's just heavy. And the neck, forget it, is completely different. It's not a Fender style neck at all. It's much more of the other guitars I play, like this, where they're wide and flat and like a 12.5-inch radius, almost a 2-inch nut. They're just wide and flat, like kind of like the Dot Marker ES335s. But like all of my guitars, this guitar, my Martin guitar, my Gibson Herbellas is not quite as wide. It's almost more sort of like a Les Paul neck. But almost all of my guitars, my nylon string guitar, are 25.5-inch scale and wide and flat. And so for me, I'm comfortable when I pick up, any guitar I pick up in my, that I work with, because I don't have what I would call a collection. These are the tools, for doing certain gigs. They all kind of feel the same. They have the same feel. So I don't have this giant sort of like, I got to get used to something when I pick up one of these other instruments. And so my point is that I have a guitar that looks like a Telecaster, but in some ways it's very unlike a Telecaster. And also it has pickups that don't hum. Because like I don't do much electric guitar playing. And mostly my electric guitar playing is done in studio work, where people want me to put a track down on their song or whatever. And so, you do that, and your single coil pickups are humming away. It's a drag. So I got some Seymour Duncans, and so, in a way, they're better than the Fender stuff. And I don't know, so get a Paul Reed Smith. Yeah. All right. Get off your soapbox, Doug. Okay. Off my soapbox and onto some... this is a song called Monkology. And I did this on Loop Mania 2025. Heritage. I live in a complex called Heritage Village. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, Heritage. They're made in the old Gibson factory. Ask Ernie, he'll know. But anyway, I'm going to do a song called Monkology. And it's yet another rhythm changes song. But here's the caveat, because there is a caveat. Monk would start, instead of doing 1, 6, 2, 5 or 3, 6, 2, 5, he would start in the key of B flat. He would start on the G flat. So in the key of B flat, the G flat is like a sharp 5, which would be F sharp, or flat 6. I can't help but think of this as F sharp, but he cycles out, literally just doing minor, dominant, minor, dominant, minor, dominant, minor, dominant, and it ends up at B flat. And he would run this funny little line over it. And so I kind of made up my own little funny line that I run over it. And so I call it Monkology because it's a total ripoff of what he does. And of course, I funked it up a little bit. So when we finally get to B flat, instead of playing changes on B flat, we've already played like 500 changes. So I'm just B flat. And then the crazy 2 5s. Then to the bridge. And regular rhythm changes. Bridge, 3-chord dominant, 6-chord dominant, 2-chord dominant, 5-chord dominant. And then back to... Okay. So let's see if I could do this. If I play it too fast, I'm screwed. I think I could handle that. I think I can. That's another thing. As I'm getting older, I'm losing my speed. Like my ideas are still there, but the speed to pull them off, oof, it's fading into the west. that's a story for another night. Very nice. Yeah. Does this song ever get to tonic? Yes, it does finally. So, yeah, it does. So it's F sharp, B, E, A, D, G, C, F, B flat. Tonic. But the tonic is a dominant 7, sharp 9. So it's nasty. It's a nasty song. Yeah. Okay. Sharon liked it. Oh, thanks. Okay. Dude, that was funny. Does the song ever get the tonic? Yeah, it's a round. It'll be a roundabout. All right. So before I continue, I just want to point out a couple of things here on the old website. First of all, up here is a little QR code so that you're always informed. You can go there. You go right to my website, and you could sign up for my newsletter. So if I ever have to cancel last minute, you'll get notified. And also, I did an inventory. I don't have it in front of me, but I did an inventory of every single CD I still have left. And can you believe I still have over 1,000 CDs left in storage? But I went and cataloged everything. And it's funny, some CDs I have nothing left. Some I have a couple left. Then there's my first CD that I did on my own label on Got Music Records. I had no idea what I was doing, obviously. Not that I have much of an idea now. But it didn't sell well. I mean, I had no idea about like marketing or I don't know, And so I got a lot of those. So if you go to my website and you want to help a fella, get a couple of get one or two of those. I got a ton of those CDs, and yeah. And while you're there, like I said, sign up for the newsletter. Then up above the headstock here is the wonderful labella, and of course I forgot to change to the gypsy strings. I've been endorsing them for over 30 years, and so I have every guitar I own has its own set of labella strings, and I use the Gypsy 10s on this guitar, and I just love them. Highly recommend them. And yeah. Then below my headstock is TrueFire.com, which for you guitar nerds, hopefully you'll know about TrueFire. It's a guitar instruction website, and they have over 500,000 subscribers. And so it's like everything guitar, with every guitar player you could ever think of is on there. And I'm on there too. And so you could, there's courses that I've done that you could check out. You could study privately with me through the through TrueFire, which I enjoy. And I have my own channel there with like 400 something videos. I haven't added anything in a long time because how much stuff am I supposed to put on there? Yeah. And then down here below the below my tailpiece is a little another QR code for Venmo. So if you're ever watching this video, say like tonight, and you're like, oh, that poor guy, he's so sick, I want to go send him some money. You can Venmo me. What do you think about that? And yeah, they call it a revenue stream. Trying to get, the way the music industry now is, you have to have a lot of revenue streams. You got to have live streaming and instructional stuff, performance, merch. It's just how it is. I do a fair amount of session work. I do sideman jobs for other artists. I'm doing one Friday night in Sherman, Connecticut. And yeah, I'm just happy that I'm still able to work. Okay, let's see. Steve says, Douglas, of all the guitars you have owned over the years, what is your favorite guitar and favorite amp? My favorite amp is easy. It was a Blackface Fender Vibalux 210s, and it had the 6L6 power tubes, and it got blowed up on a gig. We did a gig in Yonkers on, I think it was Yonkers Avenue, and it was like a brand new club, and the owner wired the stage himself. And what happened was he had no idea about stepping down the current that comes into the building. So when I plugged into like 220 volts. I didn't even turn the amp on. The second I plugged my amp in, it completely fried. And that was the end of that amp. And I was just a kid, and he wouldn't give me any money or do anything. And that was my favorite amp I ever had. I would say my second favorite amp was my Mesa Boogie Mark I. I got that in 1980. It was their very first production model. And I had that forever. And I finally got rid of it because it was just so old, And what's funny was it became like a collector's item. And so to me, I don't know, what are you going to do? Like look at it? But I got paid a lot of money to sell it. I probably made back what it cost me and more. And then my favorite guitar, I've had so many, and I've gotten rid of so many great guitars. But, out of the ones that got away, I would say I had, it wasn't a real dot marker, Gibson 335. I think it was a early 1980s when they first started doing that stuff. It was it was like it wasn't a burst. It was brown. It was beautiful. It was like a dark brown, but you could see the grain. ES335, and that had a killer neck and a killer sound. It was just a great axe. And I think that's it. I had a couple of Les Pauls, but none that really, like, oh, I wish I still had it. Had some Tellys that were kind of twisted and not so great. So yeah, that would be it. That would be the one guitar, would be the ES335, the one that got away. But I certainly went through a lot of guitars. Okay, so it's time for me to wrap this up, suckers. All right, so my last song is sort of kind of like my new favorite song, and it's a song called Mimosa, and it's by Dorado Schmidt, another one of my favorite guys, and Hono Winterstein, who probably none of you guys know, and he is a world famous top shelf rhythm guitar player, and his son is a killer lead player. And so they kind of have their own kind of like dynasties, like the Schmidts have a dynasty, the Rosenbergs, of course, the Reinhardts and the Wintersteins. There's a lot of these, I shouldn't say dynasty, I don't know what to call them, but they're just famous families that turn out these great gypsy jazz guitar players, And this song called Mimosa. And it's got like this killer intro. Killer intro, huh? All right. No. Sorry. Okay. Check this out. Whew. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Yes. Let's see. Lisa says, thanks for the great music. Sharon said, I guess Caravan might be too much to request while you're still recovering. For you, Sharon. For you, Sharon, the world. Yeah, I'll try it. Little Caravan. Then we'll say goodnight. There you go, ladies and gentlemen of the. Oh, wow. I don't know what happened to my little thing here. There we go. No, go away. Go away. We go. Oh, okay, good. All right. So, yeah, Lisa made it. It looks like everybody made it. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. For those of you that are in the Westchester area, Ernie and I will be at the, the Farmers Market in Pleasantville, New York, this Saturday from 11 till 1. 11 at night till 1 in the morning. Just kidding. 11 in the morning till 1 in the afternoon. Come for the music, stay for the pickles. They got the best pickles on the planet at the Pleasantville Farmers Market. Yes. All right, so I think I'm back on track, ladies and gentlemen. And I got some nice gigs coming up. Check my website. And thank you for supporting me, supporting my channel. It means a lot to me. Gives me a reason to pick up the guitar and keep playing as well as I can, which ain't that great, but I keep trying. All right, so everybody have a great week. And until next week, I wish you love, peace, and, just that little pinch